named can get you below there. It's right. Very well done, Darren. And you are through to the next round. Look at that. 4. Brilliant answer, Darren. Very well done. That takes your total up to 24. Richard.
Yeah, Susan Boy. Well done, Darren. She reached #1 in the UK and the US with her album, which was called The Gift, but probably should have been called Did You Keep the Receipt?
What about some of those other answers?
Well, there's lots of low-scoring answers. There's Mumford & Sons, Biffy Clyro. Michael Bublé had the second biggest-selling album of the year. He was very low-scoring. The XX was a low-scoring one, but there's lots of pointless ones too. So let's take a look. Oasis, they had a best of in that year. Glee cast, AC/DC, who did the soundtrack to Iron Man 2, they were pointless. Bon Jovi, there's Plan B, we've already heard. The Script, the Irish band, one of the biggest selling albums. Gorillaz, Paolo Nutini, the Scottish singer, and Rumour, which we heard from Pamela. All of those were pointless. Let's take a look at the worst answers. These are the ones that the most of our 100 people said, the most obvious answers. We've already heard #3 from Keith. It was Lady Gaga. And another artist with 2 albums in the list is Rihanna, 24, and the best-selling album of 2010, Take That, with 38 points.
Thank you very much, Richard. So, at the end of round 1, the losing pair with the highest score, I'm sorry to say it's Pamela and Stephanie. And that with a pointless answer and all.
Yeah.
And a brilliant pointless answer.
Gutted.
I mean, from the Antipodes, from the other side of the world, you knew Rumour.
Yeah, how good's that?
Amazing. But anyway, you've been excellent contestants. Thank you very much for playing. Brilliant.
Thank you.
But for the remaining 3 pairs, it's now time for round 2. Now, obviously, only 2 pairs can make it through to the head-to-head, so one team is going to be leaving us at the end of this round. OK, the category for this afternoon's second round is medicine. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, our second round question concerns medical conditions and their common names. OK, in this round, we're about to show you the medical names of some conditions and ailments. Now, we asked 100 people to give us the names by which they are most commonly known. Richard.
Yeah, we're going to show you 6 medical names on each pass. All you've got to do is tell us the ailment or condition that that refers to. The more obscure ones, and there's some fairly obscure ones here, will score you fewer points. If you give us an incorrect answer, you will score 100 points. And see how many of the 12 across the 2 passes you can get at home.
OK, thanks very much, Richard. So we are looking for the names by which these medical conditions and ailments are most commonly known. And we have got on our list Daltonism, hypertension, varicella, tinea pedis, myocardial infarction, myopia. I'll read those again. Daltonism, hypertension, varicella, tinea pedis, myocardial infarction, and myopia. Keith, all that time in the law library, the law society, reading your legal books, and it turns out it was medical texts you need to be studying after all.
I should be a doctor.
Well, I'll be the judge of that based on your answer.
I recognise one in particular that I think might be low scoring. And I think
good.
what I have as well. Not. Sounds bad.
You have one of these conditions.
I think so, with what I'm going to say.
OK, well, OK.
It's perfectly harmless.
Right, you are. I'll be the judge of that.
I'm going to go for myopia.
Yes.
And I think that's short-sightedness.
Myopia, short-sightedness. Let's see if that's correct. And if it is, let's see how many people knew that myopia was short-sightedness. Very well done, Keith. 51. Surprisingly high score there, but it could be a lot worse, Keith. 51.
Yes, short-sightedness or nearsightedness. 5 million people in Britain have that. Sorry, 50 million. No, 5 million.
Ben, yes. We are looking for the more common names for these medical conditions and ailments. Have you had any of these conditions?
I have the bottom one. hence the glasses.
Oh, I see. Phew.
Not the bottom one. Sorry.
Do you know any of these other conditions?
I think I might. But I'm going to go take a guess on one. Myocardial infarction, I'm going to guess is angina.
Myocardial infarction, angina. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people knew that answer. Oh, bad luck. Ben, I'm afraid that is an incorrect answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. Richard?
Yeah, sorry, Ben, I suspect it may not be the only 100 points of the round, though. I won't tell you what a myocardial infarction is, just in case Steve wants to have a go at that question.
OK, thanks, Richard. Now then, Steve. You're the last person to have this board, so you can talk us through all of those conditions and ailments, if you like.
Myocardial, yeah, heart, but I thought possibly that was angina as well. Tinea pedis. Ped, I'm thinking possibly foot. So is that athlete's foot?
OK.
I'm wondering if varicella is varicose veins. I've got no clue whatsoever about daltonism. And I think hypertension might be cramp. So I'm going to go, but I'm not certain. I'm going for hypertension as cramp.
You're going for hypertension, cramp. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said hypertension was cramp. Oh! Bad luck. I'm afraid that is an incorrect answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. Richard?
Hypertension is high blood pressure, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. I heard one of the makeup women was saying earlier you've got a tinier pedis. You should have gone for it, actually, Steve. It is athlete's foot, and it would have scored you 1 point. 1 point. Myocardial infarction is actually the medical name for a heart attack. It was a fairly high score, although 37. Varicella is what your son has currently.
Chickenpox.
Chickenpox,
yes.
Yeah. Would have scored you 6 points. And daltonism is a pointless answer, so very well done at home if you said colour blindness. Daltonism is colour blindness. There it is there in black and yellow.
Thank you very much, Richard. OK, well, we're halfway through the round, so let's take a look at those scores. On 51 points, Keith.
I'm doing a bit better this time now.
I know, you were worried that 51 was rather a high score. Little did you know. Ben and Steve, well, 200, so at least it's not just one of you way out ahead. It just means the pressure and the contest is on Leslie and Karen. So, yes, everything to play for in the next pass. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, we're going to put 6 more medical conditions or ailments on the board. Here they are. We have epistaxis, rubella, allergic rhinitis, otalgia, halitosis, and lateral epicondylitis. Let me read those again. Epistaxis, rubella, allergic rhinitis, otalgia, halitosis, lateral epicondylitis. Now, remember, we are looking for the names by which these ailments or conditions are better known, more commonly known. And you're trying to find the one, of course, that the fewest of our 100 people knew. Now then, Karen.
I think I've got the one I'm going to say.
OK.
Unless I'm very wrong. But I'm going to say allergic rhinitis is hay fever.
OK, you're going to say allergic rhinitis is hay fever. Do you suffer from hay fever?
I have it all year round.
No, what?
I know, I'm allergic to everything.
You poor thing.
Yeah, it's a bit rubbish.
Oh, it's a lot rubbish. OK, well, allergic rhinitis, let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said it. You obviously have no red line because you are the high scorers. Very well done, anyway. Right. 36, that scores you. Takes your total up to 136. Richard.
Yes, well done, Karen. I hope that's the first time in your life hay fever has actually been of some use to you.
Yes.
You've got about a 20% chance of having hay fever if you're born in Britain. Very,
20%?
very common, yeah.
Now then, Leslie. So remember, we're looking for the more common names of these medical conditions and ailments. Leslie, this is the real contest here. 136 is Karen and Steve's high score. You are on 100. You have to score 35 or less to be through to the head-to-head. Are there any on there you think you might know?
I'll go for the halitosis. Is it bad breath?
Halitosis, bad breath, you're thinking. OK, well, here is your red line. If halitosis gets you below that red line, you're through to the next round. Let's see if it's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said halitosis, bad breath. Right. Oh, bad luck. Leslie, I'm afraid that scores you 66, takes your total up to an unbeatable 166 points. Richard?
Yeah, very, very big score, 66, which tells you a lot about the man who asked the questions of our 100 people, I think.
Yeah. OK, now then, Darren.
Possibly, I couldn't even pronounce the bottom one. What was it?
Lateral epicondylitis.
I'll guess with that one, arthritis.
Arthritis. Keith?
I've no idea.
You heard Keith's little...
I heard lateral and thought, well, that's late, and old people kind of have arthritis.
It's late.
That is my only logic.
Lateral epicondylitis. Is that arthritis? Let's see if it is, and let's see how many people said it. Bad luck. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points, but it couldn't matter less. You are through to the head-to-head, come what may. Richard?
It's actually tennis elbow. Lateral epicondylitis, named after the Greek tennis player Demetrius Epicondylitis. Not really. Not really. Let's take a look at the rest of them. Rubella is German measles. Epistaxis is nosebleed.
Epistaxis is also just round the corner from us. We use them a lot.
Would have scored you 8 points. These are very, very difficult, I think, unless you've had them. And if you had them, you sort of know the names. An atalgia, do you know atalgia?
I don't know.
Earache. Earache would have scored you 10 points. So the best answer on the board there was lateral epicondylitis. Very well done if you've got that at home. Unlucky if you've got it at home.
Thanks very much, Richard. So at the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest score, I'm afraid it's Leslie and Ben. Bad luck, bad luck. Yeah. Leslie, you knew everyone else's answers.
Yeah.
It was just your own that was a tough one. I mean, halitosis was a correct one, and myocardial infarction, I'm afraid, was is the angina.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very closely related.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to be saying goodbye to you so soon. You've been great contestants. Thanks so much for playing. Thank you.
Thank you.
But for the remaining 2 pairs, things are going to get even more exciting now as we enter the head-to-head. So very well done, Stephen, Karen, Darren and Keith. You've made it through to the head-to-head. Now, obviously, only one pair can make it through to today's final and play for the jackpot, which currently stands at £3,000. Right, you're going head-to-head on the best of 3 questions. For each question, each pair needs to give me just one answer, and you are now allowed to confer. All you have to do is come up with an answer that scores less than the other pair, and you will win that question. The pair that gets the best of 3 will be playing for today's jackpot. Let's play pointless. OK, here is your first question. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many countries larger than Australia.
OK, so Australia is 3 million square miles, and there are 5 countries in the world bigger than that. You have to work out what they are and tell us which is the most obscure of those countries. See if you can work out all 5 at home. As always, by country, we mean a member of the UN that is a sovereign state.
Thank you very much, Richard. OK, Stephen, Karen, you've played best throughout the show so far, so you get to go first. We are looking for countries larger than Australia.
Okay. We're going to say China.
You're going to say China. OK, Steve and Karen are going with China. Darren and Keith, you can do all your thinking out loud now. China has gone.
It's a pretty good answer.
We think we've got 3, don't we?
Yeah, we've got Russia, obviously. Canada, United States. What's that 5th one?
I don't know.
Well, Brazil might be a big one.
Brazil.
I think it's worth a punt because I think China will be hard to beat. Canada's going to be a popular one.
OK, yeah, sure.
Brazil.
You're going to say Brazil?
Yeah.
OK, so we have China and we have Brazil. Steve and Karen.